Excellent. Welcome to today's session. Hi, my name is Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner. Let me ask you a question. Do you struggle with sleep? Do you have a hard time with falling asleep or staying asleep? Or maybe you're not rested when you wake up? Are you finding yourself going, me? Yeah, this is the topic that we're covering in the GoodFood Network. I'm going to have to apologize. I'm at the tail end of a cold, which was almost gone and then came back. Obviously, I was not taking good care of it. And so I might be a little snotty through this. So bear with me. Now, in this session, so we're bumping this out to Facebook right now. We will have it up on YouTube later. So the goal of this session is to take you through, get you asking those questions of, are you sleeping okay? And what might you need to put in place to support sleep? We're going to talk about solutions and where you can find those solutions. Because this, my friend, is what we are doing in the GoodFood Network. Every 2 months, I pivot to a new topic. Yesterday, I was talking digestion. Today, and until the end of the calendar year, we're talking sleep. So, can't wait to dive into this with you. For those who are joining us live, if you have any questions as it unravels, as this session comments below. For those who are catching the Zoom live, you can also put it in the chat function just below, and then I'll get back to you, or I'll answer along the way if I'm able to, if I can see it, and if not, I'll get back to you after the session wraps up. So we are talking about sleep in the GoodFood Network. I'm going to give you a tour of the network in a little bit to show you around the place and show you what is on tap. And that is mostly for the new people who are joining the GoodFood Network. Because an orientation is always welcome. So sleep is one of those crucial cornerstones to really supporting optimal sleep. You know, in good sleep, you can do that work of balancing blood sugars for tomorrow. You can do the work on sleeping like a queen on Tuesday night to balance your hormones on Wednesday. You can, in the act of sleeping, if we're getting you to do that quality sleep, where you go into a deep sleep, now you're able to do cleanup on aisle 5, undoing and boxing up all of the leftovers when there's been inflammation. So doing the cleanup and doing the clearing out of inflammation during sleep. We're also supporting the liver. We are doing immune system function during the night. We're doing a lot of clearing of the lymphatic system in your deep sleep. And that is part of your immune system that's living in your brain to help function, for things to function in the brain, and to help protect your blood vessels, your vasculature, and your brain matter. So sleep is kind of the great equalizer. It's one of those pillars that are essential and crucial when we are talking about supporting you in wellness. It's something that everybody can work towards. And if you're paying attention to the energetics of the cyclical nature out in the world, you know, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are moving into winter. We actually just got our first snow about a week ago. And this moving into the season traditionally is a season of hibernation. The bears do it. The trees do it. My peonies outside my front window do it. They hibernate. Everything goes downwards and inwards and goes to the roots. Or if you're a bear, it goes into the cave where I heard the other day, they create these plugs of poop so they can't even poop while they're sleeping. Like everything goes inwards. I know, random things. And so sleep is one of those great equalizers. Part of why this cold is lingering on is because my coughing is keeping me up at night and I cannot get to deep sleep. So I'm having a hard time with sleep this week. So it's perfect timing. I usually sleep quite well. I don't struggle with sleep. But this past week has absolutely highlighted the importance of good sleep. Now, I am assuming this is merely temporary. So I'm really working on I'm pulling out all the guns for my cold. Anyway, okay, so sleep is one of those cornerstones that is a non-negotiable for me, that everybody really needs to work on sleep. And it's one of those protector things, right? As we get older, for those of us with female bodies, as we move into menopause, this is one of those pieces that could start to unravel. So this is a really key time to be looking after sleep. It is exactly what's being asked of us out in the world, in the natural world. That's what's happening. So I thought, oh my gosh, like how perfect is it to be looking at sleep? So my goal for you in the Good Food Network this month is to see, are you sleeping like a teenager? That's the joke around here, because I have a teenager. And, everybody says, are you sleeping like a baby? Have you had a baby? Like, you only say that if you haven't had a baby. If you've had a baby, most babies don't sleep through the night. I mean, some do, and there's the sleep training thing, and that's not what I'm talking about. Most babies wake up in the middle of the night, at least once for feeding, right? Or twice, or 7. Whatever. This is not what this whole month is about. This month is about getting you to sleep like a teenager. Teenagers get into that deep sleep, and teenagers can sleep through vacuuming of their floors. They can sleep through, I don't know, people bouncing about and getting the day ready in the kitchen. So that's my goal for you, is to get you sleeping like a teenager. So let me ask you, I've got, hang on, let me set this up first. Pardon me. I'm going to mute just for a second. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Because I want to take this chunk of the class to put it out later. Okay. How to know if you have troubles with sleep. I'm going to ask you the top 10 ways that I see sleep is an issue in my clients. So when I see clients, we do a 90-minute intake. And in that 90 minutes, one of the biggest sections is when we talk about sleep. And I have some hints leading up before we get to that section in my questionnaire that tell me whether or not I can anticipate that there's going to be sleep issues. So there's going to be some really obvious ones. So number 1, do you have a hard time falling asleep? For each of these 10 I'm going to go through that are the top 10, I want you to put a check mark on a piece of paper. Tell me how many you get. Okay. Do you have a hard time falling asleep? Do you wake up in the middle of the night? And you can wake up for different reasons. You could be waking up. Did I put this here? No. You could be waking up because you need to pee every night. You might be waking up because you wake up with the list of all of the things that you did wrong in your life. Or you could wake up at 3:00 in the morning and, oh my God, in a panic. Oh my gosh, I forgot to pick up the dry cleaning. My mother-in-law's coming on Friday. My daughter needs her project by Thursday. Did we pick up the cardboard that she needs for that? Like, right, all of those worries that wake you up at 1:00, 3:00, whatever time. Put the time on for yourself. Or it could be just like waking up and feeling like your eyes are glued open and having a hard time falling asleep. Does that happen on a regular basis in the middle of the night? Number 3, do you rely on sleep medications or homeopathics or supplements? Are you somebody who relies and you will not fall asleep unless you bring in a magnesium supplement or an Epsom salt bath, or you have some kind of something that helps you get to sleep that you had to figure out because it used to be really troublesome and now that helped? There's more going on. That's a nice Band-Aid solution that helps you get better sleep. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. But it's an indication that something at the root level here is not functioning properly. Are you tired when you wake up? Because you've been hacking all night. Yes, Luke, I am. Do you have seasonal affective disorder? And, this is a diagnosis, and I'm not supposed to talk about diagnoses, but I will go so far as to say, do you find in the winter months that you really struggle with mood, or you have a lot more worries in the winter? Do you struggle with directions? Yeah, that is one of the top ones. That tells me that sleep is not happening on a deep level. Do you rely on caffeine and sugary treats to get you through the day? Yep. Are you at 2 p.m., I need to have my 5th cup of coffee because otherwise I'm not going to make it through the meeting? Or do you, I see this often in my classes, like middle of the day classes where people are starting to fall asleep during the class. And I know it's not because I'm not engaging. And I'm not saying that to toot my horn, but it's because I crack jokes the entire time through. I'm not just sitting there and lecturing what's on the PowerPoint. Like, I am cracking it up and I'm in, like, it is alive. And if I, like I saw it this weekend, there was somebody there who's like, at 10:30 in the morning. Yeah. Is that you? Also, sorry, I'm not exposing who it is. It doesn't matter. Do you crave carbs? Are you hangry in the middle of the afternoon or into the evening? Are you the person who's like, dang it, why did my honey, my spouse, my sweetheart, my daughter, my whatever, why did somebody buy some Oreo cookies and why did I have to eat 3 sleeves of the entire package today? I couldn't help myself. I have such low willpower. You don't have low willpower, baby. You got something else going on. So do you crave carbs? Are you hangry in the middle of the afternoon or even into the evening where it's a carb load up because you feel you've been deprived all day long? It's not a lack of willpower, honey. It's a blood sugar balance issue, which leads to sleep troubles. Do you have the 7th wind at night? Do you go? So I used to have this. Yeah. After my kiddo was in bed and my husband was in bed and we cleaned the kitchen and everything for the day was figured out, I was like, oh my God, I finally have some time to myself. I'm going to go do all of the things. I could probably start a craft. I could probably go on Facebook and like get all of the solutions to the world and then just get smarter and like be forever on. And I would be on until 1 o'clock in the morning. And it would feel like my eyes, like there were toothpicks that were propping my eyes open and I couldn't close them. Do you get that 7th wind at night? Yeah. Do you have, sorry, not pointing out to be a jerk, because I have it too. Do you have the weight gain midriff? Like, is that where you tend to put weight is around your middle? Bonus, is insomnia ramping up through perimenopause or into menopause? So as you crest the age of 40, 42, 45 for some, and then into menopause, is insomnia ramping up as you crest this threshold? Hi, I have solutions for you. Okay, those are the top 10 ways. There's way more than that. Let me go through some more. So continue to write a check mark if you say yes to any of these. Do you wake up at the same time every night? 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock? It means different things according to traditional Chinese medicine. Do you sleep too much? Do you sleep too little? Do you have mood swings where it's a struggle mid-afternoon or in the mid-morning or after lunch or in the evening? Do you have a lot of panic or worries, especially waking you up at night, but even during the day? Because if it's not yet waking you up at night, my concern would be that it's coming. That's the next piece that's going to get a little bit louder. And, you know, these are all just different steps of the body saying something's up, I need your help. And so if you're not responding to the cry of help, she's going to ramp up and use a louder voice and just kind of bump out those symptoms and sort of ramp things up. Do you have low moods? Do you have headaches? That can potentially, if there's insomnia in the picture and there's headaches, that actually tells me another piece that is struggling. Do you struggle with where you are in space? So my sister, when she was little, if she did any kind of gym activity, she would, like in elementary school, if she did anything on the ground, she would stay on the ground. And then she wouldn't be able to get up unless a teacher came and actually touched her to get her to move. So do you struggle with where you are in space? Do you have something like that where you're like, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down. I don't know how to get up. You can't figure it out spatially in that sense. Your brain has a really hard time figuring out where you are in space. That can be, if that happens and you're struggling with sleep, then that tells me there's pineal gland stuff going on. Do you rely on caffeine a lot? Kind of said that one already. Is your immune system slow to function? I have not slept now 2 nights in a row. Guess whose immune system is really having a hard time with that, right? Do you have fertility issues? And how's your sleep? That will tell me even more what may potentially not be working. And that's the thing, right? These are all just connecting points. If sleep is tricky and you have fertility issues, it's one thing. If sleep is tricky and you wake up at 3 o'clock making all of the lists of all of the mistakes you've made in your life, that tells me a different thing needs to be looked at. So while everybody may be struggling with sleep, we all may have different reasons why. And where that intersection of symptoms collides is what is going to give us those hints as to what is at the root of why you're struggling with sleep. which is the coolest thing. My job is to help you decipher those signals and the language your body's using to tell you something. Yeah. Okay, what else? Osteoporosis, osteopenia. Yeah, there's totally a connection with sleep that can be contributing to this. Do you crave carbs? We talked about that. Are you hangry? Do you have blood sugar troubles over the course of the day? Hormonal imbalances, we've alluded in a few different ways. Do you have histamine issues? Histamine is a neurotransmitter that signals wakefulness. So in some people, part of their histamine-driven symptoms is insomnia. Not everybody. And I'll add to that, not everybody who has insomnia has histamine issues. And I'll further parse that out. Not everybody who has histamine issues, who has insomnia, will their insomnia be driven by histamine issues? It could be something else. So that's complicated, I know. Do you wake up to pee in the night? Do you snore? Do you have sleep apnea? Do you grind your teeth? Those are obvious signs of a lack of oxygen to the brain, and now lymphatic system is impacted, and now your brain is actually impacted on a really deep level. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning? Do you not feel rested? How many of those did you say yes to? You can put it in the comments if you want. It's interesting to me to note, we really think, oh, I can't sleep well, I'll just take melatonin and it'll fix it, because melatonin is the hormone that makes me sleep. And then you take melatonin and then a host of other things show up. Yeah, the melatonin you take is not actually utilized as melatonin in the body. It's not like it stays the molecule of melatonin, gets into your system, and then goes to your brain and makes you sleep. Your body should be taking that melatonin, breaking it down into its nutrients. And then if you can't get back to sleep when you take melatonin, that's telling me that the melatonin you took that got broken down, you could not piece back together to make your own melatonin. So it's a Band-Aid solution that's not necessarily helping. And there's just so much connection between your nervous system and your emotions that sleep is an all-time balancing act, and we are resilient as all get out. But when sleep is affected and when it becomes chronic, that's where you start to compound the inflammation going on in the body. So good sleep is the great equalizer to me. Really aiming for good sleep. That's one of my goals for each and every single client I've got, regardless if they have sleep issues or not. We really check in to see. It's I call them weekly measurables. Every time we meet, I ask questions of how, if they came to me for eczema, how's your eczema? And in there, I always ask about if they have a menstrual cycle, how was your last period? And also, how is your sleep? Because the sleep and how you sleep is a report card your body gives you to let you know what's happening in the body and where you need to do some work. And my work is in deciphering, if you're struggling with sleep, what are the other pieces in the picture? Because that'll tell us biochemically what's happening in the body and where we need to do the work. In some, looking after sleep will mean improving digestion. You need certain ingredients to do the recipes it takes in the body to get you to sleep. For some people, if they can't digest well, they're not going to be able to get those nutrients in the form they need to make all of the things to fall asleep. In others, their microbiome may not be working well, and the microbiome has a part to play in helping you make the building blocks to make melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you sleep. In others, insomnia and the lack of deep sleep is actually an end result of blood sugar balancing issues. And you could do all of the other pieces like a sleep routine, training your body to know when it's time to fall asleep, do the dimming of the lights, do those other pieces. But if you don't get the blood sugar balance in order, you're not going to be able to fall asleep because the blood sugars out of balance are what's waking you up. So the issue is actually a blood sugar balancing issue, not a sleep issue for that person. It's showing up as sleep. Somebody who has hormonal issues, fertility issues, estrogen dominance. What else? Oh, like testosterone issues, skin issues, acne, anything driven by hormones. Do you know what melatonin does? Melatonin comes in the night and goes, it's like she plays whack-a-mole with all of your hormones. And she goes, get down there. I mean, she's gentle about it, but she goes around and she'll be like, testosterone, you pipe down, you're too high. Estrogen, I said, get back in there. Progesterone, buddy, I need you to come up. Come on, progesterone. Bump up, come on. That's the role. That's one of the roles of melatonin. So for somebody who's struggling with anything hormonally based, that could be thyroid, adrenals, fertility, reproductive, menstrual cycle, mood, any of those things, if that's showing up and sleep is disrupted, not complete sleep is one of those contributors to you can't make enough melatonin to put all the other hormones in its place. Oh, isn't that interesting? Where do we then go in, Luca? Well, we'll go in and we will do a lot of that sleep hygiene, I guess you can call it. We'll do a lot of that, but we'll do a lot of pointed nutrition to help give your body all of those tools you need to help you better get back to sleep. Pardon me. Now, part of the magic of all of this is that when you're struggling with sleep, yeah, it could be hormonally related. It could be blood sugar related. It could be because you have neurotransmitters that are out of balance. It could be your circadian rhythm is out and your sense of where you are in time and place is just not solid. It could be so many different things. But I will tell you this. In the GoodFood Network, there is almost no hand-holding. Like you are really self-driving yourself through the content. I will tell you, regardless of what the reason is behind why your sleep is struggling, if you implement these ideas, you're still going to see benefit. And you're going to see benefit in a lot of different arenas when you start to implement these ideas that we'll be diving into over the course of this next month and into December, because we're doing 2 months on sleep. But you can only stay, if you only want to stay for 1 month, you can. If you want to stay for 2, you can stay for 2. So we need to prioritize so many different things to help support that deep sleep, because when you do that, it's the great equalizer. And what's our goal? Get you sleeping like a teenager. Okay. Yeah, your metabolism, blood sugar balancing issues. That's what we're going to be addressing. Other things we'll be addressing over the course of November and December. We'll be reducing the stress in the body on all of the levels. We'll be doing some anti-inflammatory work, which reduces that internal stress. We'll be talking about other ways to reduce that internal stress. In fact, tomorrow we actually do a whole thing on digestion. When you can't digest well, that's a big stressor in the body, and now it adds to your stress load. So the higher your stress load, the harder it is for you to fall asleep. Yep. We're going to be doing other things to mitigate the external stress and the emotional stress as well. We will be doing big anti-inflammatory bits too. When you reduce inflammation and you really do a pinpointed anti-inflammatory approach, now you're starting to provide the body with a lot more nutrients that she'll need for that act of falling asleep and the act of staying asleep. They're 2 different processes. Yep. We're going to really, really hone in on microbiome things as well, because it's the season of going inwards. That resonates on that level. And your microbiome is what actually builds your serotonin, which is the precursor to melatonin. So for anybody who struggles with seasonal affective disorder and struggles with sleep, man, do we have you covered. Yeah. And if you have any kind of gut issues or, IBS, gut stuff, bloating or celiac, Crohn's, colitis, like all of the gut things, or leaky gut. If you're like, yeah, no, I totally have leaky gut. Yeah, leaky gut can be one of those drivers of sleep trouble. So we'll be doing a lot of gut pieces as well. So we're doing lots of different things. And key to all of this, we're going to be supporting that main gland that makes all of your sleep happen. It's a little gland called the pineal gland. It is the size of a grain of rice. Yeah, that's what is in charge of your sleep. Can you believe it? Isn't that wild? It's the size of a grain of rice and it's shaped like a pine cone. That's why it's called the pineal gland. You're an evergreen. Yeah, I got a little pine tree outside my front door. I just always look to her and go, oh, hi, I see you because you are in me and I'm in you. Yeah, because I'm an evergreen. And this little pineal gland lives in the middle of your head, like this way, and this way. All axes. Like the pineal gland lives in the center, and it's your pineal gland that governs when it's time to be awake and when it's time to be asleep. Yeah, we'll be talking about circadian rhythm, the role of light. We're doing so many different things. Do you want to see what's going to be in the network? Let's take you for a tour. So sorry about my hacking cough. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be This is what it's going to look like. I should have had this ready. Sorry. So this is what it's going to look like. So now we're getting into the tour of the network. So for anybody who's going to be joining us this month, you're going to come back to this and I will tell you where to find this. Don't worry about it. You're going to come back to this video because it's going to give you a tour of how to get around the network. There's also already a training video that's going to take you through how to access all of those pieces. So that is your first piece of work. It's to get to know how to access the network. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do it. Let me maximize my screen because that works a bit better. There we go. I take that up there. Okay, so once you log in, first, when you sign up to join the network, you get an email that says you're in the network. You get another email that says Luca Simmons is inviting you to join her on Practice Better. This is where I do all of my work, is through this online service called Practice Better. It's a Canadian company. I love them. It's a little bit tricky to figure out how to navigate the first and second time you're in, but after that, it starts to become way easier. So stick with me. I do it because it's a good price point. Otherwise, I'd have to charge you an arm and a leg. Okay. So when you first log in and you've created your account, you've logged in, this is your home page. One little tip to know is that this little insignia up top left always takes you to your home page. If you happen to be on the home page, this is when this pops out. So when you want to access GoodFood Network, it's under Programs. So you can click on this, or it shows up here as well. Doesn't matter. You can click on one or the other. GoodFood Network. This is what it's called. GF Network. Yeah, the GoodFood Network, not gluten-free network. As my friend Corey said. Yeah, I love the gluten-free network. I know. Is it gluten-free? Yeah, well, this month is it? Yeah, it is all gluten-free this month. Not on purpose. I eat gluten, but yeah. Anyway, that's a topic for another day, isn't it? So the new stuff just got published. So for those who are already in the network, all of November's stuff is up. I took out all of the October stuff. So this is what you get when you first get into the program. So it's under my programs. And again, you can get back to that homepage by clicking on that image top left. That takes you to your homepage. So let's go back to programs, GoodFood Network, click on the title, and here you're in the network. One thing to know, wherever your cursor is, you'll be able to scroll down. If I'm up here and I'm trying to scroll, I can't scroll through the modules. You have to go over the section where the modules are. Good thing to know. Now we've got it broken down in a couple of different sections. We've got the admin stuff up top. We have live sessions. So these are sessions that will happen live that you can join. We have some pre-recorded content that's like on demand, kind of, like Netflix or on-demand TV or, that sort of service. We've got 3 things every month. And then we have some written content as well. So let's first start up at the top. We've got a module here called Start Here Kitten. Guess where you're going to start? In there. When you get into the network, this is where you have a training video to show you how to access everything. Now, because some people have, you might find it tricky to get here. Most people don't. But on occasion, if somebody is really rushed and is hoping that I'll hold their hand through it, they will not be able to find this piece very easily, in which case you actually get an email that sends you the direct link to this. So every email that comes into your inbox, I want you to hang on to them. It'll say you're having trouble accessing the network. That's going to be the title of the email. I don't know how to make it any clearer. In there, you'll get a direct link to this video. So just know that. Okay. Let's go back to the modules. Okay. Start Here Kitten. So let's start with what is going to be on offer this month. So this is our schedule in November. I'm going to expand it so that you can see it a little bit better. So for November, these are our live sessions. That's all that I put on the calendar because they are tied to a certain time. The others are not on here because you get to watch them and access them whenever you want. So the live stuff, our orientation call on the 1st, that's happening right now. We have our Thursday morning sessions. So these are called Food is Medicine sessions. They're half an hour long. And we have a different topic every Thursday. So you can come and join us live. Your camera's turned off, don't worry. So you could be making breakfast, still be in your PJs, not even brush your teeth. You won't see anyone. You'll just see me. So you can join us live at 7 a.m. on Thursday mornings. I wanted to have something at that time that was accessible to everybody. There's also a replay of all of these if you cannot join us live. So everything in the network has a replay if you cannot be there live in person. Most people catch replays. That's cool. You're the boss, not me. So these are our sessions that we'll be doing, our Thursday morning sessions. They're all tied to sleep. So the first week, we are talking about digestion and the role it plays in sleep. And at the end of each of these sessions, you get 3 to-do pieces, like 3 pieces of homework. And then you can choose one of those or do all 3 if you want. The second one, the top 3 saboteurs to good sleep. What are the top 3 things that really mess up your sleep, and how can you undo those? Third week, the role light and the lack of play in your sleep. That's that circadian rhythm piece. We're going to talk about melatonin and talk about how to improve melatonin in the body. Then we're going to be talking that last week about the sleep and heart connection. So heart disease shows up in people who have had struggles with sleep. There is a lot of work that happens to support your heart in that deep sleep. So if there's a history of heart disease and cardiovascular disease and strokes in your family, this is a class you're going to want to attend. These are accessible. These Thursday morning sessions are only accessible to those who are in the network. So in order to get into these sessions, you have to be in the network. And so far, when we're talking about the live stuff, we've got one more live class on that Wednesday morning, the 15th. We're going to be doing Build Your Good Sleep Checklist. So when you're looking at these, you've got that's 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. This is an hour and a half, so now we're up to 4 hours. Right now, you have 4 hours of classes for $35. That's the cost of being in the network. And that's just the live stuff. There's a lot more on offer. So you're paying less than $10 for every hour that you're catching of live content. But more than that, you actually have 90-minute cooking class involved that you can access whenever you want. A class that is going through how to meal plan, which is a 2-hour class. You also have a 2.5-hour class that I call Vitality Sleep. This is like the gem of the network. And we'll go through that Vitality Sleep class in just a minute. So that is an almost 3-hour class. So you've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the 4 hours here. So you've got 11 hours of content plus printables for $35. I think that's good value. Now, it's only value to you if you actually want to join into the content, right? Of course. So in this schedule and checklist, this is the name of the module, schedule and checklist for November. You've got your calendar here. You can print it if you need to. We have a checklist as well to help you make the most out of the network. So what we do here, I've put in all of the different pieces, those actionable pieces that you can watch or do in the network. And so you can print this up. There's a printable version right here. So for example, once you've checked out the schedule and worksheet, you can put check mark. I love a good to-do list. It makes me feel like I've accomplished a lot already. So we've got a main topic module on sleep. There is a whole video on meal planning. We've got a Vitality Sleep class. We have a pizza prep cooking class, actually. We have those live Thursday morning sessions I just went through. We have that live class on November 15th. We've got recipes. We have a whole section on how to eat along with the seasons. And then we have a weekly challenge, weekly good food challenge every week. So what I encourage you to do, if you're going to, when you join us in the network this month, print this up and prioritize right through there. What are going to be the pieces you want to do first, and put them in order, and use this space on the left to number them. Number 1, what's the first thing you want to do? Well, you want to check out the schedule and worksheet, because by the time you've printed this to write on it, you've already done it. So that's number 1, check mark. Well, I know. And then prioritize. I will tell you, this Vitality Sleep class, if you're struggling with sleep, this is where you'll get the majority of your answers. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And then just accordingly go through and say, well, you know what? I'm not even going to do the pizza prep class. P.S. The pizza prep class is for histamine people, for people who are low grains or on paleo approach. It's for everyone. It's for vegetarians and vegans and people who eat conventional foods like me. And everyone in between. If you're on a restrictive regimen, I have all of the things: low histamine options, low histamine recipes, paleo recipes, grain-free recipes, gluten-free recipes, dairy-free options, and egg-free options if you need them, and meat options if you want to add them. Pardon me, if you want to add them in. Oh yeah, I'm on Team U. Everybody's invited to my table, and there's zero judgment, and I will only trust that you're doing what is right for your body. Okay, so that's that. And then we have a worksheet. So this was a new piece added this fall. So every month there's a one-pager, and this is your cheat sheet. So there's a printable version just below. In here, you write down what are your main goals this month, and that's a good place to start. What do you want to address? What do you want to work on this month? Or how is struggles with sleep showing up in your body? I actually struggle with drinking 5 cups of coffee every day. So if I struggle with having 5 cups of coffee a day, and that's what keeps me awake at work, then I know that I'm struggling with sleep and I want to reduce my coffee intake. Well, you'll only want to reduce your coffee intake if it means that you're going to be alive and alert at work. So now you're actually working at improving sleep. So that's your goal. So start by really hammering out what is your goal this month. And then as you go through the content, you're going to have ideas at every single turn. And there's a lot. There's probably in total 120 to-do items in the Good Food Network this month. I've counted them. There's about 120. Are you going to do all 120? I'm going to ask you that question. No. Well, I mean, you can try, but that's going to add stress, which is going to make you not sleep. So no. I'm the gal who's going to give you a smorgasbord. So you're going to go to when you go to buffet, if there's, there's 8 of us here in our family, on my husband's side of our family here in town. When the 8 of us go out to buffet, the 8 of us each get a different plate. And it's going to be the same for everybody in the network. Your plate will look different than your neighbor's plate. You're going to pick the pieces that resonate with you. You're going to pick the pieces that you like. You're going to pick the foods you like. So the action items regarding food, the action items regarding lifestyle. So I help you break it down in your to-do in 2 ways, either food or lifestyle things. So as you go through the content, for example, if you're catching that Vitality Sleep class, at the end of it, you want to do 3 things and you've written them down. 2 are food and 1 is lifestyle. You add them to this. You take this 1-pager, and when you go to yet another session, maybe that Thursday morning session where we'll be talking about melatonin, then I give you more solutions at the end of that one. Okay, well, that's about melatonin. What were those to-do pieces? I'm going to pick number 2. And then you decide, is it a food item? Is it a lifestyle? And you put that down. And then what happens is a year from now, you're going to come back and you're going to say, oh yeah, there was a worksheet on sleep. I have the things that I can do to improve my sleep already. You don't have to join the network again. Yeah, you're going to fire me one day. You've got your to-do pieces and you're going to prioritize 3 to 5 things to do this month. That's what I recommend you really hone in on. Out of those 120 things, you're going to put 3 to 5 on your plate. Yes. All right. So that's that. So that's the second module you want to get into. And I'll tell you, once you're done the module, what you can do, see this button up top right says mark completed. If you put mark completed and you confirm that the module is completed, and then I go back to my program, what that does, check this out. Schedule and checklist, I completed it. Oh, I already know I completed it. I don't need to go back in. You can still view it. You can still go in and look at the content if you need to. Print anything up you might have lost along the way or print a new handout. Cool. Not a problem. So you can access everything. You can't break anything and you cannot make anything disappear. So the other modules I want to take you through very briefly. There's a whole topic on sleep, and that's a bit of what we did at the intro of today's video. Then we've got everything about your network subscription. So this has a lot of different pieces of this, how to cancel your subscription if you want to out of the network. So everything is in that module here that has to do with that administrative piece. Now let's go into kind of breaking this down into those 3 pieces. You have those live sessions. So we looked at that on the schedule. So for each of those live classes, we have a section under live sessions. There's those Thursday morning sessions, food as medicine. Then we've got that live class that's happening in the middle of the month on that Wednesday morning. Anything to do with those two classes will be housed in their respective modules. So 7 a.m. Thursday mornings, Alberta time. These are the topics we're covering in November. So we also give you the rundown here. Now, this is also where you're going to find the roundup or the replay links. So video replays, just keep scrolling on down. We've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This month, we've got 5 weeks, actually. And when the time comes and the replay is ready for you, you will click on this and it will take you directly to the YouTube video. That is the replay. So that's cool to know. Back to the live sessions. This time we're going to the live class this month. So this month, we're going to be doing it, Build Your Good Sleep Checklist. This is going to happen 9 a.m. Wednesday, November 5th. If you cannot join us live, you get instant access to this. Everybody else pays $25 for this class. For you, it's included in the network. For an extra $10, you get the rest of the network. I know. I'm on Team U. Okay, so here we've got Build Your Good Sleep Checklist. The replay is going to be here once the class has happened. So if you can't join us live, you can watch the replay. And then there's handouts and recipes in this section as well. So when they're ready, it won't say coming soon. They'll be right there and you'll be able to print them up. So that's the first kind of sessions we have. The second type of sessions we have are that pre-recorded content. So what do you have in that pre-recorded content? That's that Netflix, like the instant access, like on-demand TV, right? So the pre-recorded content, we've got 3 to choose from. We have a Real Food Reset module called Meal Planning. This was a full 3-month program that I've broken down into morsels. And this is a whole section on meal planning. And then we've got sleep. That's that 2, almost 3-hour class on sleep. Yep, you'll fall asleep during the sleep class. No, you won't. There's jokes the whole way through. Then we've got a cooking class, how to do pizza prep. It's a fun class that I did with my kiddo at the start of the pandemic. We did it for junior high kids, and I think everybody needs to know how to make pizza anyway. So we have a full 90-minute class on how to make pizza, recipes, sauces, ways to think about piecing together. You will never go to takeout ever again. Yep, we have low histamine options and paleo options in there. So come and join us for that class for sure. This is kind of just a fun extra piece. It's kind of a bonus piece to being in the network. Do these whenever you want. I'm going to show you. So the meal planning is a series on how to start thinking about meal planning. In that meal planning module, we actually go through 4 different, or a couple of different ways. There are, there's a 3-month meal plan done for you already. You guys, the value of the network is ridiculously affordable. $35, you're getting all of this. You have 3 months of meal plans that you can print up already done for you. I know. Spoiler alert, you're not going to use them though. Nobody follows a meal plan somebody else built for them. But I give it to you anyway, so you can start with it and you can get an idea of how to build it. But I also, over time, help you build your own. Yeah, that's the whole goal of that meal planning module. So if you want to get into that, that's one that you can dive in. That's Vitality Sleep class. Is where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck from the network. This class on its own is $50. You're getting the network for $35. So you're getting a deal on this class. And then you get a bunch of other things. The difference is if you buy this class by itself, it's $50 and you'll get access to it forever. In the network, it's only around for 2 months and then it disappears. So you don't have lifetime access to it. That's why the price point is much lower. So Vitality Sleep, we're going to get you to sleep like a teenager. I can't find where I put that image, but I just love that. Okay, so we've got handouts and recipes. We've got a sleep habit stacking worksheet. And then we've got a series of videos. And on your handout, it's going to take you through all of the different videos. So you see how they're numbered here? Video 2, video 3, we get into the biochemistry. This is really broken down into many pieces. When sleep is an elusive beast. Yeah, who doesn't feel that? Why is sleep so important? Oh my God, now you're going to cry at that module. It's only 7 minutes long. And then video 6, identifying those things that negatively impact the sleep. This is where I help you really tweak and figure out why sleep is troublesome for you. So this is a total self-directed thing. I'm not hand-holding you at all, except that I did it through the video, but I did it once in the video. Now you can do it for yourself. So this is really great for the person who struggles with sleep and has not been able to afford coming to see me one-on-one and is motivated. So video 6, identify those things that negatively impact sleep. Then we go into the strategies. Root veg at supper. Why it's important to love up your guts. Get in the sun in hour 1. Dig deeper when you need to figure out what else is going on. Then there's a recipes and recap thing. So all in all, there's 12 videos. Yeah. Like I've broken it down so you can go through it piece by piece, and this can take you a full week to get through. We've got extras here and where you can find some of the ingredients I talk about. So yeah, so this is quite possibly the crown jewel of the network this month and next. This Vitality Sleep class. By itself, this class is $50. When you pay $35 for the month, you're going to get access to it for the whole month. So much, much more affordable. So that's part of that pre-recorded content. So I talked briefly about meal planning. We've got the sleep class. Let me take you through for what scratch cooking looks like. So this tells you a bit of the history of it. We're doing pizza prep this month. In December, we'll be doing the pizza make and eat class. And then here's the pizza. Why is that butter chicken? Obviously, I need to change that image. This month's recipes. Whips. Yeah, this is me. This is all DIY. I did it myself. So we talk about different sauces you can use as your pizza prep. And then it's 90 minutes of me and my kid in our kitchen when she was in grade 9, which is 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago. Oh. Anyway, we're in our kitchen. It's pretty hilarious. And we have a really good time. It was a live class we did with 72 junior high kids. Then you got printouts and recipes. You know, if you're in the network and you're like, I don't have 90 minutes to go do a cooking class on the weekend, I want you to change that word. And I want you to say, I'm not making 90 minutes to go cook some good food on a weekend, because you're choosing not to. And that's okay. If life is full, you just don't have that space. And I get it. But if you want, you could carve that time out because you still need to eat dinner on the weekend, correct? Bring in a kid. Bring in a kid in your life. Call your niece and have her over. Get in the kitchen and cook together. We're all doing it live, so you can pause if you're having trouble working something out, and then get it started again while you're making the pizza with us, because we do it along with you. But even if you're not going to access the videos, make sure you come in here and you print things up. The recipes are awesome. We've got a grocery list as well for those who want to go join in on this class, and it tells you exactly what to get for the class. So this is a really fun class. That's kind of a really nice bonus piece to being in the network. So that again is part of your pre-recorded content. So those 3, that meal planning module, the whole Vitality Sleep class, and that cooking class are all part of the pre-recorded. Last but not least, might I say, this is maybe where you start. Just print up the written content. These are modules that don't have any videos. They just have printables to them. So recipes, every month you get new recipes. So we've got beet goat cheese, mitza, hamburger 1-pot casserole, apple cherry barbecue sauce, and butter chai. These are all the recipes for the month. You get to print them up if you want. Get her done. Once you've finished it, what do? Mark completed. Because when you come back next time and you log into your program, you will scroll down and you won't have to remember that you've already printed up those recipes. It's done. We got the weekly Good Food Challenge. So every week I update this module on the socials. I give you a food to eat and a food challenge for the week. This week it is oysters. In the network, I fan it out a little bit more. So you get a little bit more help in getting that food on the table with recipe ideas, links out to recipes or ideas on how to work it in. For example, oysters this week. This is the food. This week's challenge is to get some oysters in this week. You can link out to why it's important to have oysters and why it helps you. But then I give you some ideas. So I don't do this on the socials, but I do this in the network. Go out for oysters for lunch this week, maybe supper on the weekend. Get some oyster pate, smoked oyster pate. You can link out to a recipe. Make some smoked oysters Rockefeller. Oh God, yeah. Then I tell you what to swap out. So you start to learn how to swap out for better ingredients in your recipes. There's a great roundup of recipes here for oysters. I love to add a can of rinsed out canned oysters to a good seafood chowder when I'm making it. And I tell you how I cook it. I do this at least once a week. Yeah, it is sauteed with some breadcrumbs and then sometimes mushrooms, artichoke hearts, shallots, all kinds of zucchini last week, parsley, garlic. It is hard to find oysters that are not in a not awesome veggie oil. So I still use them. I just rinse them as well as I can. And then if you have an air fryer, this is a really good, like crispy baked oyster that has pork rinds as the coating. If you have an air fryer, this is one you could try. Yeah. So and then as the weeks go down, then they get bumped down here for earlier challenges. And then you always have the most recent one up top. So that is everything in the Good Food Network. That are the modules. Now, for those who are going to be joining us, I'm going to give you a starter tip. There is also a group chat here. So will we see the names of people? We will. I'm going to hide them. Oh, no, you can't. Okay, good. Sometimes it shows up here on the side. Okay, you can't see. I turned it off. I did remember. Phew. So at the top, there will always be the first one, a hot tip of the week. Every Wednesday, I update this tip. So start in the group chat. It's going to give you a hot tip for the week. Click on Mark Completed when you finish a class or a module. I just showed you how to do that. And then anything else. Every time I upload something to the network, I put something in the chat to let you know. So your first stop when you first get into the network is to get in. Once you're in the program, click on that chat button. Everybody who's in the group, in the network, will be able to see everything that's in the chat. This gives you the updates of everything that is waiting for you. So new content awaits. For example, this week's Good Food Challenge that I updated on Monday, I added it here to let you know that the content is also updated in the module, where to find it and what have you. So, those were some of the changes. For example, last Thursday, the Thursday morning session was on bitter flavors, friend or foe. And when I finished that one, I posted something in here that said it's ready for you to access. So when you first log in to the program, or when you get into the hub, get into your programs, click on the network, get into the chat, and that will help you catch up on everything that's new this week. And that is how you make your way around the Good Food Network. So listen, I have taken your ear and brain space for 53 minutes now. It's time for me to go rest my voice, stop coughing, and go back to bed. I look forward to having you join us in the network. I'm going to drop a few things in the comments below wherever you're catching this. If it's on YouTube, you're going to click on more because that is going to open up what's below the video and a lot of write-up, and there will be direct links in there. I'm going to drop a couple of links. If you're not sure if the network is for you, first things first, book in with me. Let's chat about it. It won't cost you anything. I call it the free discovery call. It's 15 minutes. So book in with that. Look for the free discovery call link. Let's clarify if this is for you. Second link, there's going to be a link out to the Good Food Network information. In there, there's a full write-up on, is the network for me? How do I know if the network is not for me? So if you still need a bit of hand-holding, but you don't want to talk to me, go read it for yourself. It'll help you decide, is the network for me? Or maybe do I need to wait? And I will drop a third link. If you know right away you want to join the network, here's the link to do that. So there will be book in for discovery call, link 1. Link 2 will be I need more info on the network. I want to read more and figure out if it's for me. The third one is I'm in. I want to join the network. That's link number 3. Click on the right link for you. Can't wait to see you in the network. We got lots of material to cover. I got to go prep for tomorrow morning session. Thanks for joining me on this Wednesday morning. Welcome to November. I hope that this month is good to you. And I hope that sleep is an achievable thing. And may you sleep like a teenager indeed. Salut. À bientôt.